Welcome back to the Interact Post. Today, Article 14 will include us going over and discussing leaks related to Genshin. Specifically, looking over a lot of the stuff coming out with weapon pack details, looking at the overview for 4.5, as well as the possible banners coming out in 4.5. Once again, we do want to say that all the info we have found you can find yourself. We are not beta testers and have no inside information whatsoever. We will be using various sources that everyone has access to, and so now, with all that out of the way, onto the video. So the first speculation we want to bring up that we talked about just a second ago was looking at the upcoming weapon pack details and looking at this entire idea. I believe in the previous or a few Interact posts ago, we were talking about the 5-star weapon packs that you can get that will possibly be in the shop for you to buy and actually be able to get either with some sort of use of Genesis crystals or some use of a possibly new type of, currency that you can use to get these. It seems like the first weapon pack that we're getting, at least for right now, and it could be during 4.5 or maybe a little bit later, maybe 4.6, possibly 4.7. It looks like that'll probably be where it's going to be around, and it's actually going to have a price of about 2,000 Genesis crystals, which stinks a little bit considering that we're going to have to pay more, but it is a gacha game, so that's just what happens. But I do want to say that it is the 5-star weapon pack that's not going to be focused on actually looking at the limited 5-star banner. So you can't just obviously buy, Raiden's Engulfing Lightning, but it will not also include the Jade Cutter, Hunter's Path, Amos's Bow. It's basically going to be only the Skyward series weapons, and I'm going to guess it's going to have some sort of drop rate. I don't know if it's just the entire series. I don't know. There's not too much really to go off on. You can't get Wolf's Gravestone and all these other things from the standard banner weapon type thing. You can only get the Skyward series sets. But all that being said, stuff that's kind of nice to at least see. Maybe some changes we'll get in the future with some more weapons that we can maybe get, like Amos's Bow and Jade Cutter and whatnot. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that, Rift?
Well, first of all, I think it's pretty exciting. Yeah, right at the start, I'm seeing it's like, okay, we have to pay money for it, so it's like the free 5-star that people have been talking about. Maybe that's not entirely what we're getting, but hey, at least it is something. Like, we can probably choose like to easily get one of the 5-stars we want, like within this Skyward series. I guess the bummer for me was that it does, maybe only include the Skyward series, like, because I know Jade Cutter is something I'd want, Hunter's Path, Amos Bow, Wolf's Gravestone. There's a lot of other weapons that aren't in the Skyward series that are attached to the standard banner, though. That's what most people want when it comes to weapons, as on the standard banner. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a letdown for me, but it's an option, and 2,000 Genesis crystals isn't like too much to ask for. I can't, I don't have it like right in front of me or right at the top of my head, but I think that's like, I think you can buy like the 1980 pack for like 20. It's either 20 or $30. So, it's a little bit of money you got to throw into it, but that's better than like leaving it to chance on the banner, right? So I do think it's pretty exciting. I think it's a good new player thing, especially if you just want the weapon, right? So it's pretty exciting, and I'm excited to see maybe how this will change, or maybe it could be a better installation of this feature that we're just talking about, because yeah, it is just a speculation, so who knows, there might be some positive changes to this.
I think it's a great idea, and maybe this pack, if it does well, maybe they'll throw some other packs in the future that we could possibly get with characters included and whatnot. So anyways, alongside of that specifically, we are going to be talking about the 4.5 overview and looking at all the different things that are going to be kind of coming up in that, and I'll be going through them in quick succession. Mainly I'll talk about the events in this specific speculation. We'll kind of go over banners and some of the other things in a second, but obviously we're going to be having Chiori. Like I said, we'll go over the banners in a second, but also with Chiori has some extra characters that will come out alongside of her. And then we're going to be having an alchemy shop type simulation event, and that's going to be kind of a little bit focused on like making potions and whatnot, and kind of almost like a Baiju / like Diona mixing drink thing. I think it's going to focus mainly on like us just actually doing a lot of like potion making and doing a lot of stuff with alchemy. So it seems like that'll be kind of cool. After that, we're going to have another rerun for the phase trials, which is just a combat event. So if you guys didn't know what that was, another event that we're going to have is in Mondstadt, and that's going to have a cat cafe event. Now, me and Riff were talking about this beforehand. It seems like at first we were thinking it was going to be a little bit more focused on like we're going to walk into the Cat's Tail in Mondstadt and you just have something event in there. But it seems like the Cat Cafe event, it could be that, but it seems like it's going to have its own separate area and its own separate event that you can basically go in, and it seems like you can actually pet cats. I know that a lot of people have been wanting that for a while as well. So a lot of the things that are going to be popping up and we're going to be seeing there is going to be a little bit more focused on maybe a little bit more like fun gameplay and quality of life, just like fun stuff to do during that event. Another event that we're going to have is Cannons versus Slimes event in a basic version of it. I don't know if this is going to be like a team fight tactics type thing where you're just creating, you're either controlling the cannons or the slimes. Rift, earlier, I know you made a point of just like having the idea of like the Charlotte or the Chevreuse thing where we're going to be using like a sniper of some sort and just, like, shooting people like we're in Valorant. Like I don't know really what that's going to bring out, but I know that Lynette's going to have a hangout, which is going to be nice just to get a little bit more
exciting.
hangouts to bring in here. And I know you like to play a lot of those hangouts as well.
That's right.
And then Nervalette, Charlotte, and Kirara, their TCG cards are going to be coming out in 4.5, which is really nice. I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to use Nervalette's kit in the actual way to, with his skill and his burst, to actually make that a little bit more of a difference there. And then with the story quest or a little bit more of what's going on in 4.5, whatever it may be, usually we see Dainslift start to make an appearance in this point in time, but it seems like he's not going to be making an appearance in 4.5, but rather he's going to be making an appearance probably in 4.6, which lines up with a lot of things happening up in 4.6, Arlecchino, a lot of the fighting stuff that's going to be happening against her possibly in 4.6 alongside of possibly another Archon quest for Farina. So a lot of stuff that could be happening in 4.6, but no Dainslift in 4.5 as we can see right now.
Yeah, definitely. And if that's true, then we are in for a ride for 4.6. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff, like story-related stuff going down in that patch, if that's true. So that's, I'm excited for that. That'll be really fun. And, just kind of going back to the alchemy shop event you mentioned near the beginning, you said like Baiju and Sucrose. So I imagine, we already kind of are getting the feeling that 4.5 is going to kind of resurface some Mondstadt events. You even talked about the Cat Cafe event in Mondstadt, and maybe, the new 4-star Dahlia that's possibly in 4.5. There's a lot of things kind of pointing to a lot of Mondstadt stuff going on. So I definitely see with the alchemy thing, Sucrose, and maybe even Albedo, there's another, kind of connection there, right? So I'm pretty excited for it, and that'll be a lot of fun, just having some extra things to do. I know some people don't like the non-combat events, but for a lot of the casual players, it is just refreshing and nice, little extra thing to do that's not the same thing over and over, that being the combat. For me personally, though, I really like the combat events, so that's what I'm excited for, like that phase trials. But anyways, looking at the next thing we have, Vixen, what do we have there?
Well, we have a 4.5 event weapon that is going to be called Dialogues of the Desert Sages. It is a polearm 4-star that is going to be based off of HP percent, and its ability states that when the wielder performs healing, it will restore 8 energy, and this effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds and can occur when the character is not on the field. Now, that is at R1, and that's 8 energy basically every 10 seconds when you heal something. But if you have it at R5, you're gathering 16 energy, which helps just a little bit more with it. There's probably some better ways. Favlance is probably a little bit better than this, but it is a free weapon and it does have an HP main percent. It does have an HP percent main stat, so maybe there's some usages here. I'm not really thinking of anybody too in particular. I don't know about you, Rift, about what this weapon would be for.
Well, actually, the first character that came to my mind was Chevreuse. We know she's an HP scaling polearm healer, so she could probably, definitely use this as a free-to-play option, because when we did get Chevreuse, we didn't really have... Well, like, the game didn't introduce a new weapon specifically tailored for her, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, we have a lot of other options. Like, a lot of people can just run Favlance for support Chevreuse. I personally run Deathmatch, but I also have a more damage-built niche kind of Chevreuse. This polearm, however, though, definitely seems like a good free-to-play option for her, and it's totally free. You can get the refinements on it all the way to R5 really easily because it is an event weapon. So that's just, the character that came to my mind. Who knows if there's another polearm character that scales on HP that I'm just not thinking about, specifically for healing. I'm not thinking Hu Tao here, guys, okay? So, you know, she's not a healer, guys. Yes, she can heal herself. All right, let's not let's not go down that rabbit hole. But anyways,
Looking at the next leak that we have, we are looking at the 4.5 banner information that we really kind of gathered, and it seems like a lot of people were kind of talking about that it wasn't really going to be a very good weapon banner, and it was going to be very skippable. A lot of stuff that was coming out with Chiori, a lot of people were hoping that she was going to be focused on, buffing and helping Navia, and it doesn't seem like that's her main way to really help Navia. It doesn't seem like that's what she's really going after. She's kind of more like a Geo version of Yelan-ish type thing with a better version of Albedo kind of swapped together. But, a lot of people are, kind of looking at this banner, and, Ito is going to be alongside of it, which is nice to have alongside Ito and Chiori together, so that's kind of good. But not a lot of people at this point in time, if you've already pulled him, are really going to be pulling him anymore. But it does seem like the second half is going to be having Nervalet and Kazuha. So Chiori and Ito in the first half, and then it is going to have Nervalet and Kazuha in the second half. Now, a lot of the same time, we're talking a lot about a possible change in how banners are kind of being looked at. And it seems like there's going to be a new type of banner, or a limited time banner, that is going to be featured, which is going to have multiple different Mondstadt characters. And that's where we're seeing a lot of the leaks and speculations with Albedo being thrown in together, because it seems like he's the only confirmed character that's going to be extra on this banner. A lot of people are hoping for, like, the 2 5-stars on the first half and then 3 of them on the second half. But it may be a little bit better than that. It might be, focused more on just having all Mondstadt characters in general. That could be nice. That could be, not great for some people who just wanted Albedo, but it is something interesting to look forward to, as well as the 4-star characters that could come at least for the first half are looking like Xingqiu, Goro, and Yunjin, which, once again, if you're going for Chiori and Ito on that first half, having, honestly, those 3 4-stars is actually a really good banner, considering Goro does better with more Geo characters, Yunjin's helping normal attacks, which Ito is based off of, Chiori can be the sub DPS for it. You've got a 4-man Geo team already there, and it's already starting to look really, really good, and so you're getting a lot of buffs from everybody from that sense.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like an interesting patch for sure. The possible lack of content that people are kind of, we're seeing, like, okay, why aren't we hearing a lot of new story type things, right? So it kind of does make sense that maybe, this is where we are getting the new banner kind of system introduced into the game. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually make that change and what we'll get out of that. But yeah, like you're saying, a lot of great characters to pair together, just like you're saying, 4-man team right there. So I don't think you can go wrong there, other than, that Geo's kind of niche. And if you, decide to go down that route, I'll stop talking. Sorry, you Geo supremacy mains. I respect you guys. Looking at our last speculation for today's video and what we've gathered this past week, looking at the upcoming 4.8 version. So this is a little bit further out. There will be 3 more skins in the game. I know we just got Ganyu, Shenhe, Xingqiu, so we're starting to see a lot more skins come to the game, which I think, is really exciting, because I know a lot of people have been asking for this kind of stuff, right? So I'm really excited for this. So some rumors suggest there's going to be kind of a fairy tale looking theme. So there's going to be like 2 female characters, probably Sucrose and one other that we don't really know at the moment, and a male skin, probably Albedo. There's also been talk about ZHONGLI and Zhao skins being in the works, and this is exciting, right? Because how long has it been, do you think, Vixen? People have been talking about wanting to see ZHONGLI with his, like, white cloak skin.
I think it's been a very long time, especially because, in general, a lot of people wanted Archon skins. I don't think the amount of people you could even count is the amount of people that have really wanted Archon skins with, how they looked in the Archon War, or those white robes. Obviously, how they are looking on the, statues of the 7 that they have all around the world.
Yeah.
What I'm obviously, you skipped right over Zhao, which hurt a little bit. No, I'm kidding. But, like, it does look really cool, because the entire idea is getting ZHONGLI this really, really cool skin that I think everybody's been really looking forward to have. But also, I think, Zhao getting something really cool as well. It makes a little bit... It's an interesting one, because Juju, you would expect him to get something during the Lantern, right? So to see this coming up in 4.8, it's a little bit of a,
that
throw
is true,
off
yeah.
the idea a little bit, so...
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I'm not mad about it. I'm going to be paying for that skin immediately, so all my Xiao mains understand.
Right, just like I'm gonna be, spending on the ZHONGLI one, there's a very good chance.
Well, that's everything we have for this week. I know this was a little bit less for the Interact post, but we did have some really cool stuff looking forward to, especially a lot of stuff that could come in 4.5. But if you did like the content that you saw today, or maybe you've just already seen our content multiple times, please do go ahead and like and subscribe. You're already coming back to see the content, so you might as well subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so you can see even more content. And we do have a Discord, so please go ahead and join if you want to, interact with us or interact with a lot of other members in our community. We'd love to just get to talk to you guys and see you guys a little bit more there. Well, that's everything we have for this video, so we'll see you guys in the next one.